everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Chambers Veterans Council. I'm Mike Whitlock. I chair the council, and my co-chair, Doug Burham, is here too. And we want to welcome everybody. A couple housekeeping notes: cell phones, make sure they're on silent. If you need to take a call, make a call. Just quietly go out there in the hallway and make a call. Feel free to do that. The restrooms out to the left, and then another left, and then a right. That's easy enough. And we have the coffee and some water. And out in the hallway, we have like a machine that has some sparkling water too, so which is kind of cool. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is we'll stand up. I'll do a quick invocation. Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have given to us, and for this occasion that brings us together, which reminds us of the strength of our military and the freedom it defends, as well as the role the Prince William Chamber of Commerce plays in the economic freedom we have here in Prince William County. 22 years ago, 9/11, 2,977 innocent people were died in a terrorist attack on U.S. soil, and we forgot. It's high time we start remembering. May God bless those who lost loved ones in 9/11, whose hearts still ache every year on that day, and may God bless and His mercy bless the United States of America. Thank you. And now we'll do our pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball, let's go. Go get them. All right, very excited today. And at first, I don't want to forget, this is not possible without an annual sponsor. And our annual sponsor, Brady, is going to talk about your company.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. First, the reason why we did this sponsorship is to get more vocal advocates for the geriatric population for our veterans. I hear it on the phone weekly. They need help. They don't know how to get the resources. So we have to start there. In addition to this sponsorship, we also have 44 veterans. So we specialize in assisted living, memory care, and independent. We're an age-in-place concept. We're right in Lake Manassas here in Gainesville, Virginia. The most important aspect to us is being a resource. If you need anybody that is at home and needs care, send them my way. I can get them in the right direction. Even if it's not a good fit for the Wellington at Lake Manassas, being a vocal advocate is what our company and president has been very vocal about. She was in the Army for 22 years. So so this touches home. We host a lot of veteran events. And like I said, we have a lot of veterans in our community. So my name is Brady Marston. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing and Community Relations for Ashley at Lansdowne and the Wellington at Lake Manassas. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
And those facilities, I understand, you can go month to month.
Yeah, month to month, age in place, no huge buy-in. So yeah.
Can I ask two questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Number one, do you have a business card?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Did that.
Could you please give them to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
She's afraid I'll lose one.
That's okay.
And my second question is, coincidentally, my daughter is a nurse at the Veteran Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island. And she's visiting right now, and she tells me the greatest struggle with aging veterans is they go to the VA hospital for assistance, and unfortunately, the VA can't give it to them because their illness or their injury was not documented when they were young. And so, but the older generation, like me, is afraid to get my injuries recognized by the VA, if you will, and I'm using me as an example. So oftentimes, those older veterans are turned away because the VA can't help them because 20 years ago, they never got their injuries recognized. So how do you respond to that?
Well, that's a very good question. I usually let the higher ups answer that from a marketing point of view. But yeah, getting resources. We teamed up with several companies just this past year to help that as a vocal advocate. So I would point them Legions of Patriots or Patriots of Allegiance. It's a company that we signed on for. It's a paid service, but essentially that's where I would tell you. A very good question.
That's a good question, David. That cut into your speaking time, by the way. So we're going to start and go around for introductions. Just your name, your business, and what branch of the military, real quick. And we'll go around the room. We'll start with Dave.
Dave Quimby, I'm with the American Legion of Manassas, and I was in the Army.
Yeah. Again, I was in the Army and I'm with the American Legion as well.
Hi, I'm Monica Farr. I was in the Navy and I'm part of the Office of Congresswoman and Happy Wheels family.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Bob Newell. I was in the Navy and with Clayton Engineering.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Livergood, both from AML, Auto and Diesel Repairs and US Air Force.
I'm Emily Basic. I'm with the Veterans in the Arts Initiative with the Open Center and I am an Army fan.
Yeah.
I read lens photography and marketing. I still have a daughter who is a cadet at the Academy with engineering.
Yeah.
I'm Richard Party. I'm here with CSI and Aaliyah, the Copy Love in Action. I am the operations director for this quarters for the food bank.
I'm Crystal Anderson. I'm representing the Vets today. We're not speaking. One of our Melissa is not feeling well. But I'm still here to represent our organization. I would agree that there are definitely veterans that get turned away and send them our way. We can help them. That's what we're here for. We provide those resources. So I'm a civilian.
Deborah H. Net, and I was an Army vet.
Caleb Green, Master Sergeant, United States Army.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Kate Woody, Rural Wealth Management, Bank of America. I am representing our military recruitment and hiring initiatives. I am an Air Force family member.
So my name is Pamela Mason. Good morning, everybody. And I'm a colleague of Case. I work at the Religious Health Financial Advisor, Senior Financial Advisor there. And so Merrill Lynch Wealth Management, there we go. So again, we've been talking to the veterans folks at Bank of America and Merrill Lynch in order to try and connect them with you folks for hiring purposes. And I am part of an Army family here, let's say, in America. And my father was a Second World War veteran.
Wow. God bless you.
George Ramos, I work for the Prince William Chamber of Commerce. I am the outreach manager. I was in the Navy. I was in IT.
Jan Hawkins, I'm with Volunteer Prince William, the Volunteer Center for Greater Prince William County, and I was 9 years in the Army.
Oh,
I already introduced myself.
that's still Brady.
My name is Donnell Johns, retired Command Sergeant Major. I spent 26 years in the United States Army, and I'm here representing Veterans Growing America.
Hi, everybody. I am the co-chair for this committee. My name is Dal Burum. I'm with All Assured Solutions. I'm an insurance agency, but I'm also representing the Patriot Cruise and Salute, which I am the director of operations for. And finally, but yeah, definitely least. I'm just kidding.
I waited for this for 5 years.
Oh, and I'm Army. I forgot that part.
I guess the Army still got Tourette's. I just don't get it when they go, ooh, so. Anyway, I'm from the elite fighting group. Like the elite fighting group, we fight with the Smurfs, the Ninja Turtles, and Space Force, the United States Coast Guard. And I've got a son in the Coast Guard for 15 years already, a grandson in the Coast Guard for 3, got a granddaughter going to the Coast Guard Academy next year. So we got a whole slew of people going in there and gotta swim a little better, I guess. But anyway, so now we will continue with what we're doing here. Thank everybody for being here. Our first speaker is going to be Donnell Johns. You've picked up one of these. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he's got a great history behind him. I remember when he came to the chamber to a Veterans Council meeting like this, trying to transition out of the Army, and he didn't know anything. I mean, he just came here for information, and he flourished. He joined the chamber, flourished, did a couple things, and now he's got a great business that will benefit all of us. And we definitely want to hear your story. Donnell Johns.
So like you said, my name is Donnell Johns. If you hear my name again, I have a son, Donnell Johns Jr., and he's also a part of the business. But I'm with Veterans Growing America. So
just to tell you how we got started with Veterans Growing America, this idea actually came to me while I was still in. And I wanted to bring veterans together in business in a way that America can support us. And I was thinking of how can we do this? And I went to an event and I saw that we had, it was a resource event with tables. And I was like, this would be good if veterans were selling their product and services. And so that's where Veterans Growing America was born. And I actually brought it to this committee when the idea formed and sat around and was like, hey, this is what I plan on doing. And this committee gave me ideas on how to bring it to life. And so now we have a storefront in Stonebridge, right across the street from the Apple store and Barnes and Nobles. And our logo has also been on a NASCAR. And so I'm just here to tell you that thoughts can become things, right? Whatever you think of, you can achieve. The cool part is this logo sits out there in Stonebridge and people walk by and they think it's a recruiting office. And I laugh when they say that. They were like, nah, I already joined, I already did all of this stuff. But when they walk in the door, their thought about our community changes. And when I talk to people, you know, most of the stuff that they bring up about our community is PTSD, suicide, and homelessness, right? That is the thing that they bring up. But I let them know that those three things are human conditions, not veteran conditions. They're human conditions, not veteran conditions. And anybody that goes through anything deals with stuff like that. But when they walk through the doors of Veterans Growing America, the first thing that they're greeted with is positivity. Like when we, you know, said our service name and we was like the who and all of that good stuff, right? And so they're fired up when they walk in and they get to see us as leaders. They see us as heroes. They see us as entrepreneurs and they see us as human beings. And that's what we want America to see us as. Because when they see that, they're more likely to give us the jobs that fit the criteria of the type of work that we want to do, right? They're more likely to support us in ways that can take us to the next level. And then it's also healing. In doing something that you love and that you're passionate about, it heals you in so many different ways. We had a young lady jump on our call. This happened actually on Tuesday. I met her about 4 months ago and I told her about what we do and she got involved. And she said that her life changed tremendously because she sees her future and she sees a way that she can make it happen in our community. And she's empowered to make things happen. In fact, this young lady has been working with us and she's in Texas and she's gonna fly here for an event that we're doing just because she felt that way about us. And so what we say here in Veterans Growing America is that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. The same way that we supported each other in uniform is the same way that we support each other in business. We help out the guy to our left and our right. If you come into our pop-up shop, you'll see that a person will greet you at the door and they'll walk you around to everybody's table, even though they have a table in there. Because they know that when they shop with one of us, they're shopping with all of us and they're supporting us. And so when people say thank you for your service at Veterans Growing America, they say thank you for your service in a way that we both win, right? And people come in there sometimes when they're walking by, I stand outside and I get to see the transformation of a person when they walk through the doors and they go, hey, you know, I only got 3 minutes. And then an hour later, when they walk out of our doors and they have a bunch of shopping bags, they say, thank you. When they walk out, thank you for inviting me in. And that's so cool to me because they're shopping with a purpose, right? Which is so cool. So let's get into this presentation. Oh, you got it. Thank you. Thank you. So this is our mission, our vision. I'm not going to read that to you. Well, our whole thing is just making sure that people have the resources that they need to succeed. There's over 40,000 free resources for our community that most people don't even know about. I was looking on the VA website the other day, and I found out that they have a program called the Self-Employment Track. Through this Self-Employment Track, they have up to $1 million that they can help you start your business if you're a veteran with a disability. Right? That's crazy. Who knew about that? I just found out about it the other day. So this is our storefront. Let me tell you guys a quick story about this storefront. And so, see this street right here, right in front of the store? That's the first place that I went to was Stonebridge to see if I could rent the street in front of this store. I had no idea that I was gonna have a store that's in front of the street. But I went to them and I was like, hey, can I rent your street? Because I wanted to have vendors from one side of it to the next and have veterans businesses out there. And the lady told me no. And then she asked me, she said, Donnell, how many veteran businesses do you have? I said, I have none right now because I don't have a place to send them. I said, but I can find them. I said, I spent, 20 years in recruiting. I know how to find people. You just give me the space. And needless to say, she didn't give me the space. I came back 3 years later, showing her all the stuff that we did. And again, she told me no. I was like, what do I have to do? Well, anyway, I said to her, I said, well, what can you do for me? And she paused, she picked up the phone, she did something else. And I was like, I'm gonna be quiet because I don't know. And she said, follow me. And as I was walking out of her office, Mayor Wood says, hey, what's up, Donnell? She was like, who is that? I said, that's the mayor of Dumfries. And she goes, oh, you know him? I said, yeah, I know him. And she was like, and he goes, are you gonna rent a space in here? I was like, I don't know. Well, anyway, she walks me to the doors and she opens up this storefront and said, how would you like to rent this space? Mind you, I'm rich, I have plenty of money, I'm a millionaire, I'm lying, I didn't have nothing. And she said that you can rent this space. I was like, I didn't know how I was gonna pay for it or anything like that. And I just said yes. And we've been there for over a year now, and we've done some amazing things. And I'm about to tell you about some of the amazing stuff that we've done inside those doors. So before that, we were traveling all over the United States doing veteran business expos at the Army and Air Force Exchange. And this is the impact that we had on our community. It's been huge. I mean, we've been to Fort Hood, Joint Base Charleston, MacDill, Fort Bragg, all over the United States doing veteran business expos. And every time I go to these places, mind you, I didn't know anybody when I got there. I didn't know if there was any veterans in those locations with businesses. I just said yes. And then I put the marketing and advertising out there. And just because we have all of these veteran and military spouses out there that's selling a product or a service, they wanted to be involved with each other in what we're doing. And that's how this happened. And so these are some of the places that we've been. Next slide. As you can see, we've had a big impact. At our store, we run our pop-up shop every weekend, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have veteran and military spouses selling their goods and services. You think of something to sell, and they sell it. And they sell some pretty cool stuff. I mean, we have everything from cutting boards. This one young lady, she sells plants that she makes in a jar and they grow. We have one young lady, she sells these figurines that she thinks of. They're clay figurines that she thinks of. We have people that sell apparel, jewelry, whatever can be sold, it's sold in there as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, right? Next slide. These are a couple of our partners. Next slide. So we're open 7 days a week. We have full-time vendors in there Monday through Thursday. Actually, Monday through Friday, our full-time vendors sell their products, and we're actually looking for more full-time vendors to sell their products within our store. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is our pop-up model. And so we have vendors coming in there, they set up a table, they rent a table from us, and they sell their products and services. We do a couple other things that I'm going to tell you about, but we are open 7 days a week, and those are our hours. This is what you need to do in order to become a retail sales vendor. We want to make sure that you pop up with us because we need to make sure that we have the right culture within our store, right? We want people that are outgoing, that want to be in business, that are serious about their product and services, and also serious about helping those people that are around. These are our pop-up hours and what it takes in order to be a vendor at our location. And so if you can open up a Navy Federal Credit Union account, you can be a vendor at our store. We believe the entire family serves, not just the veteran, but the veteran, the military spouse, and the dependent. It's important that we recognize and support and take care of all of those. But at the same time, they also have to fit the culture of Veterans Growing America. These are some of the past events that we've done. We'll fly through this real quick. So I was on the news. They allowed me to speak on the news. Can y'all believe that? And so I was able to get on the news and talk about what we're doing. We're looking for more opportunities to tell our story. So if you have a platform where we can tell our story and tell the story of our community, please do that. We also partner with other organizations to, make sure that our vendors are out there and selling their products and services. I was the guest speaker at the American Veterans Ball. They let me speak to 500 something people. I was like, really? Y'all want me to do that? It was amazing. And we do a comedy show. So check this out. Veterans are funny. They can tell jokes, and it's a clean comedy show. We don't allow them to cuss or say anything raunchy because we want the entire family to be able to come out and support. But we have a comedy show coming up, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday on the 30th. We would love for you guys to come out and support. Here's something cool. So this guy right here in the middle, his name is Tony Woods. If you know anything about Tony Woods, he was on BET's, I can't think of it right now because I'm standing in front of you, but he's a huge name. He's actually the mentor to Dave Chappelle. And he found out that we were having a comedy show, and he drove all the way from DC and walked in the doors and was like, hey, what's going on? I'm a veteran, I'm a comic, and me as a sergeant major, I put him to work. And so I made him get on stage and tell jokes. It's fun. And then we also do an award. So once a year, we do our annual Vendy Awards, where we recognize our vendors for all of the amazing stuff that they do and what they put together. And so this year was a sneaker ball. If you know anything about me, I love sneakers. I couldn't afford sneakers when I was younger, so I buy all the sneakers in the world now. And I sometimes wear them with my suit. I should have wore some today. They're a lot more comfortable. This actually blew my mind. Right, look at that.
Yeah.
Our logo was on the on a NASCAR. It still blows my mind. It was in Martinsville. We actually came in 14. But the actual family of the driver found out about what we did and loved what we're doing because we're showcasing veterans in a positive light. And he was like, I'm about to put you on the hood. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I was like, okay. And we went out to Martinsville and I got to see NASCAR up front. I got to put on the headphones and listen to them coach the driver. And then I got to see them actually change those tires in like seconds. That blew my mind. Do you know that they glued the lug nuts onto the rim and then put that thing on? I have it in slow motion. I videotaped it in slow motion if you guys want to see later. So these are a couple of the upcoming events. Every Friday we do open mic. So I don't know if you guys know this, but singing is a business, poetry is a business, spoken word is a business. And we want to make sure that people have a voice at our location. And so open mic night, we do that every Friday, and veterans come out and showcase their talent. And people can, it's open. Our store, I didn't say this from the beginning, but our store is open to the public. Anybody can come in. It's not just for veterans, it's for everybody to come and support. And so anybody that has a talent on Friday evenings, they can showcase their talent at Veterans Growing America. We do a Veterans Connect networking event. So the fourth Thursday of the month, which is next Thursday, we're doing a networking event. And that networking event connects our community with business, education, and employment resources. Business, education, and employment resources. But most importantly, each other. And why is each other important? Because if we're in an organization, we can take that person that we met at Veterans Connect and then introduce them to the right person to help them get a job. Or if that person needs any type of resource, now we have a connection where we can support each other in being and achieving whatever we need. We're just a question away from the success that we need, and all we have to do is support each other. But most of the times when we leave the military, we leave and we go off into the four winds, and we never connect with each other again. So this is a way for us to connect with one another and support each other. And we'll have business resources in there, to help them achieve their success in business. We also have employment and education resources like colleges in there. And so, and then we also do a raffle at the end where we give away $250 that they can spend in the store and shop with our veterans, during the weekend. So come out next Thursday. You don't have to play that video. So on September 30th, which is next Saturday, we're also doing a Veteran Business Expo at Fort Belvoir. We call it a Vet Timber Fest. And so if you're able to get on Fort Belvoir, come out and support. We're gonna have a DJ, live music, some food and all of that good stuff. And then we're also open at our store at the same time. And so if Fort Belvoir is too far, come to the store and shop at the store. So both locations will be open at the same time, but on September 30th.
Is this actually at the AV store there?
It is. We'll be right out in front. Next slide. There's that comedy show that I told you guys about. So also on September 30th, so we're doing 2 events in 2 different locations. And then at our storefront that evening, we're doing a comedy show. And that comedy show will be from 8 to 10 p.m. at our store. Get your tickets, they sell out fast. We only have the capacity to have 150 in there, so we want to make sure that all seats get filled. But it's absolutely a great time. The guy that's up front, he's an Air Force veteran. For you Air Force veterans that are out there, he's the one that runs Clean Comedy. And so we partner with other veteran organizations to do stuff like this. I know you guys are wondering, how's Donnell doing all of this stuff? I don't. Other people do it. I just facilitate it and smile at the end. All right. We're also going to Florida. So Miss Veterans America's pageant is happening in Florida, and we're providing the vendors for Miss Veterans America. We'll have about 20 vendors at this event. But we partner with Final Salute, which is also a veteran organization that helps out with women homelessness. And then here's a couple of things if you're a member of VGA that you get. So those that are a member of VGA that sell a product and need a Shopify account, they get free Shopify account for 120 days. They get connections with mentors, one-on-one coaching. And then we also have a 8-week small business development training program that they can go through. We also partner with Iona University, and they provide our members with all of the stuff that's listed here. I'm not going to read it, but it's business 101, and then they also have an open office hours. You know, so if you have a question that you need to talk to someone about as far as your business is concerned, you have that. And then we're going to do a business roundtable for those businesses that want to collaborate with each other and share ideas, and that will be once a month. And we partner with Amazon, so Amazon Military, and they're providing to our members training from them. So this is not some guru that thinks that they know Amazon. This is actually training from Amazon, where they're going to tell you how to sell on their platform in a way that you can make money, and you can ask them questions and figure out the right way to do it and what program that you should be involved in. So this is one of them. This is the perfect launch, sell more with Amazon. And then in November, this is the one that we're going to do, is how to start selling in the Amazon store. And then this is our website. We're actually going to tear this thing down and build it back up and make it a lot more user-friendly. At the time, this is what we could afford, but we're actually going to do a little something bigger and better, where it's a community on the back end of it, which we have now, but we just want to make it, we want to make it a lot more user-friendly because it's a little tough to make it through right now. But, oh, go ahead. Oops, sorry. Keep going. And so there's a marketplace on there, there's events, there's our directory and news feeds. Keep going, go 4 slides. Here we go, right here, back. And so what I'm asking you guys today is if If you guys want to be a sponsor of our organization, we can use the help to increase the amount of stuff that we're doing for our community. Also, you know, we need photographers, videographers to capture. Because when you're at our organization and you're doing stuff for us, by promoting Veterans Growing America, you're supporting our members and their businesses and their small businesses. And by you liking, sharing, and supporting, what you're doing is you're taking care of that veteran small business. And when I talked about PTSD, suicide, and homelessness, entrepreneurship helps out with all three of those in so many different ways. Entrepreneurship keeps the veteran's mind off of the stuff that they've dealt with. It also provides an income for them, right? And then it also helps them as far as their passion is concerned. I think there's two things that can stop a person from committing suicide. Number one is God. And if they don't have a relationship with God, then they need to be passionate about something. And if they're passionate about something, they can make money off of it. It will help them survive. And so through entrepreneurship, we're helping our community win in ways that they've never thought about before, with a community of individuals that can support them. Cool story that happened at my first event. We had a person that sold, this is not my first event, this is, I think it's like the second or third, but we had a person that sold salad dressing. And then there was another person that sold this toothpaste pack. And the guy that sold the guy that had the toothpaste pack looked at the guy that sold salad dressing and showed him how he can make his bottle better and make sure that he was able to get his bottle sold in different locations. And then the guy that sold salad dressing helped the guy that has the toothpaste pack, he's working with him to get his toothpaste powder into MREs. And so it's a win-win relationship. It's actually a triple win relationship, because not only are they helping each other with their products and services, but they're helping their businesses grow at the same time. And so we don't do competition, we do co-opetition where we work together. Are there any questions? Dang, I did that good. Thank you.
Any questions, you can refer them to Doug and Donnell. Donnell, thank you very much.
I got a question. How do you get the darn ringing off this?
All right. So Donnell does a lot for the community, does a lot with the chamber, and I mean, hear him talk about all the success and the training they have and all the little perks they have to be a member of that group. And I mean, you got these pop-up stores, they're all over the country, all over those ones that you said. So we're very excited about that. So more opportunity. And I bet a lot of you in the room did not know all about that detail and what they do up there down in Stonesburg. This is an excellent shopping center. So,
And if you haven't been there, I'd be there.
yeah.
Hey, Mike, Mayor.
Yeah.
Just as a person that's had the opportunity to talk to them several times, unannounced, you know, whatever the case may be, there can be 100 people in the room. And it's funny that if Donnell knows you when you walk in, it's like, he dials right in. You're always welcome. The environment is hyper friendly to the point that it's almost unbelievable. When he talks about the cooperation and the synergy and the brotherhood and the fellowship that we have within the walls of VGA, it's 100% authentic. I'm a witness to that. I've been there many times. And people, I've sent people his way, known or unknown, but it's always wonderful to go into a place like that and feel like you're at home. He really does support the entire veteran community. So I would highly recommend that you go out and.
Thank you.
May I as well, firstly, you know, thank you for your service to all of you. And it's wonderful to see you putting your passion to work in the community. As they say, knowledge is power. That's one of the reasons I think why you have this good council here that's formulated, is so that people that are outside of the veteran community can be able to find out about organizations such as yourself. Was not aware of Veterans Growing America having a presence in Stonebridge, but now this gives me an opportunity that we can go back to our partners, our stakeholders, you know, that are within Merrill Lynch, within Bank of America, and just outside of other veterans as well, to make them aware about about your services in your storefront. So the question I did have is that, is it just in Stonebridge or are there other storefront locations outside of
So
veterans?
our only storefront is in Stonebridge.
Okay.
We're looking at partnering with other, in fact, there's a lady that just contacted me in Maryland. Where we're gonna partner with them and do a storefront in conjunction with what they're doing in Maryland as well. And so we're fairly a new organization. We started back in 2019, and the storefront wasn't something that we thought about doing until that door opened, and we plan on doing more. Obviously, we would need, supports through grants and sponsorships in order to be able to do that, but that's the goal, is to, yes, get more storefronts.
I just had one other thing, when you talk about sponsorships, okay? I mean, there's so aside with levels of membership and different things like that. Whether it was gold, silver, bronze, I don't know what. Do you have levels of sponsorship or sponsorship with specific purposes?
Yes, we do, and I can send those to you.
Talk about that for more.
Yeah, so our sponsorship, we have a package where you can help fund the building where we're at, to make sure that we're able to keep the doors open on a daily basis. We also have several other levels that I can send you in a package with what we do. You could also sponsor vendors to be in there, because not every vendor can afford to vend at our location. But if you guys sponsor vendor tables, that way a veteran, that is just now starting out in business can get a table at our location, sponsored by you or whatever your location is. And last but not least, you can sponsor, the events that we do specifically. If you want to just sponsor the entire thing and get your table there as well, you can do that as well.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
And if you send us the package, because we work with a lot of companies like Sweet Street, Black Gold and such like, and they actually sponsor some of our events at Merrill Lynch.
I love it.
But sometimes they're willing to sponsor other things as well, so I'll probably pass that on this one.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's why we do it. We connect there, right? This is
I
awesome.
love that. Thank you.
So, thank you, Donnell. So we had another speaker scheduled today, but she fell ill. So what do? Well, you find somebody, a veteran, who can come in here and get the job done. So at 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I said, well, I'm gonna call up these people I saw at the Tank Farm Festival we had a few weeks ago. And the American Legion. And we know very little, I know very little about the American Legion nationally, and certainly the one locally. And so David Quimby was nice enough to say, hey, yeah, I want to get in there. He says he doesn't have a bio, but I'm going to read his bio. American veteran, Army veteran, 26 years active duty, infantry soldier, airborne ranger. After deployment, worked for the Army as civilian servant for 20 years, multiple assignments in Kunis, tours in Germany, 3rd Armored Division, and Korea, 2nd Infantry Division. Joined American Legion Post 10, which is right down the street, 9 years ago, currently on his 3rd term as post commander. So we welcome David, and he brought a guest with him. David?
And if you took copious notes, my name is Quimby. There's no L in my last name. It's not Quimby, but that's a common mistake for some reason. The first thing I'd like to do is Sergeant Major, thank you very much. That's my contact information, and this is the date of our next general membership meeting. We'd like to invite you if you're available. We start at 10 o'clock sharp. Address, phone number, and email address. Let me know what you think, but we'd be happy to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I will try to be as brief as possible. When I got the phone call from Mike, I was very excited about being here, and I gave it a little bit of thought, obviously. And so I decided to also invite one of our board members, Robin Zwyban, who is an Army veteran, you may recall. And just to let you know, we have a board of 8 members that are Legionnaires, that are veterans and members of the American Legion. And Robin is what we call the second vice, and her charge is to track and plan for all of our activities, kind of external. For example, the tank farm, and we recently participated in a car show in Manassas, things of that nature. The Manassas Veterans Day Parade, the Manassas Christmas Day Parade. the Manassas, St. Patty's Day Parade, things of that nature. So that's her task. And I brought her today because I thought her insight might be valuable. However, let me continue. What is the American Legion? It is the largest veteran organization in the country. It has lobbyists that work in Congress, well, with congressional members, lobbying for change in laws or creation of laws to help veterans. Two great examples are the injuries sustained by the smoke pits in Iraq, and also a relatively recent one is recognizing Agent Orange as an illness. So those are things that the American Legion at the national level does. The foundation for the American Legion is its members, of course, but the Legion also has what they call 4 pillars. And just to give you an idea of what they are, and I have some brochures here that explain the 4 pillars in detail, but the first one is veteran rehabilitation, which gets to what we were talking about a minute ago. National security, Americanism, and children and youth. And very briefly, why is the American Legion interested in national security? Well, at the national level, we hope the Department of Defense is taking care of that with the Commander-in-Chief. But one of the things we try to do at the high school level to inculcate in some of those students the importance of national security is we select generally high school seniors, and we send them down to Richmond to spend a week with the state police. And it's like basic training. They shoot, they drive cars, they get exercise, they get yelled at. It was, I brought my grandson there recently, and it was just like the drill sergeant hollering at you. It was fun. But something like that. Children and youth, we have a number of programs, for example, where generally high school seniors and juniors come in, and they have to give a discussion of an aspect of the Constitution, and they're judged on that, and they get monetary prize if they win first, second, third place, etc. And then the winner goes up to what we call the district level, and then the department level. We had a candidate recently went to national to give her oratory presentation. We also select, again, sticking with the juniors and seniors, students to go to what we call girls state and boys state. They actually go to a college campus, and for 1 week, they learn how to run a city, and how to pass laws and how to pass regulations and procedures, etc. Great experience for them. Getting outside of that, we also have, or let me back up. Every American Legion post and every American Foreign Legion VFW, thank you, that's what I'm talking, should have what we call a veteran service officer. Our post does have one. A lot of them don't, unfortunately. And what that means is if a veteran needs help putting their packet together to submit for consideration by the Veterans Administration, it is a laborious process. And a lot of them get frustrated and they say, screw it, I'm not going to do it. The job of the veteran service officer is to sit down with that veteran, go over their medical records, listen to their history, listen to their experience in the military, record everything in the proper form, get it packaged properly, and then help that veteran send it to the VA so they can get the entitlements they're responsible for. I prepared a handout, which some of you may have picked up. The front page, and I apologize for the color, it didn't serve well in the reproduction machine. It gives our website some basic information. And the second page of it is simply a list of things, activities that we have in what we call our social quarter. This wasn't specifically designed for this meeting. I prepared it for what we call recruiting events, like the tank farm and like the car show I mentioned, so that when a couple is walking by, I hand this to them and they say, hey, Bill, did you know they've got hatchet throwing? Did you know they've got line dancing? Look at this menu that we have. And I don't think I did not include the menu, but we have a great menu. So this is designed to grab somebody's attention and bring them in so we can talk to them about being a Legionnaire. Another thing that I'd like to do, and just bear with me for a minute, the American Legion, of course, has a constitution. And we have our set of bylaws that are in compliance with that constitution. But I'd like to read to you, and this gets to the key point of why we are here today. I'll read the preamble to the Constitution, and this is read at every one of our general membership meetings. For God and country, We associate ourselves together for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to foster and perpetrate a 100% Americanism, to maintain law and order, to preserve the memories and incidences of our associations in the great wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation. And I always accent those words, community, to me, and that's kind of why we're here. That's why I jumped on the opportunity to come in this morning. State and nation, to combat the atrocity of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to prosperity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. Oh, you want me to kind of?
No, you keep going.
Okay, very good. I think that's all I have, unless you have any questions of myself and Robin. Sir.
And this is not to be funny. Can you explain the difference between VFW and American Legion, please?
Yes, the VFW is the oldest veteran organization in the country, but the American Legion is the largest. The VFW, the eligibility has changed in both organizations recently, and I'll get to that. If you were a veteran of an armed conflict, then you were eligible to join the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars. The Revolutionary War didn't count, obviously, because of the time. The American Legion was established in Paris, France, right at the end of World War I. And it was initially, and this is a major change, it was initially open to any veteran that had a honorable discharge and served during an armed conflict, not in the conflict, but during an armed conflict. That was changed recently by legislation. So if you're a veteran with an honorable discharge and serve a veteran in honorable discharge, you're eligible to join the American Legion. So the eligibility changed when they dropped the served during an armed conflict for the American Legion. The VFW still has served in a conflict overseas. Iraq is an excellent example, and what have you. So did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? All right.
I do. I was surprised at how many things you guys do over there. I had talked to David yesterday at 1 o'clock. Then I figured I'd pop in and see if he was going to be there. I said, "Are you going to be there so I can introduce myself?" He goes, "Yeah, my wife's playing bingo." I said, "You got to play bingo?" Okay, so I go there, see all these cars. Now this is located by the Ashton Diner. I see all these, where all these cars are coming from. I go in there, it's like I'm in a casino. They're playing bingo, they're having fun, all ages, all camaraderie. But they've got so many things on this page that you guys have with the cookouts. My friend Carl loves going there on Friday night for the shrimp. I mean, they got stuff for the kids, right? You guys got all kinds of stuff. The axe throwing's not real axes, but you got all kinds of stuff. So it's just all the events that they sponsor and everything. So it's really a great thing to be involved with if you're not. And it's a good social place for people to gather too. And I mean, they've got a fire pit in the back. They got, smoke cigars out on the patio, all that kind of stuff. So it is pretty cool. So I didn't realize all the services they have. And that's why I thought it was important. I was going to have the American Legion here sooner or later, but the sooner the better. And it just worked out. I want to thank you guys for coming out. So anybody who can tie in with this young lady, Robin, she knows Cece Bartholomew.
Hey.
If you guys ever remember Cece, and Cece was in the Air Force too. So everything comes together in like a small package, you might say. So it really is kind of a small world. So anybody have any questions for any one of our guests or in general to us?
I was just gonna say,
Yes.
obviously the eligibility for veterans, is there an association for folks to support you guys that are not necessarily a veteran?
Yes, great question. The American Legion has 3, if you will, subgroups. One of them is the auxiliary. That was exclusively for women that had a father or grandfather that served. I say was exclusively for women. Now men can join the auxiliary. The second organization is called the Sons of the American Legion. That is any son whose father or grandfather served, and they have a group. The third group is kind of a composite of legionnaires, auxiliary, and son and that's the motorcycle riders. Most American Legion posts have a riders organization, and they have to be either a veteran, member of the Sons, a member of the auxiliary, and own a motorcycle. So did that answer your question? Okay.
So if you guys have any questions for us, just let us know. Doug is gonna go over a couple of chamber events that are coming up.
Yes, it's a talk.
Yes.
All right, so those who don't realize this already, and I think we talked a little bit about last month at the meeting. Part of the 501c3 foundation for the chamber is raising funds for the veteran community. So we have a great fundraiser coming up on October 18th for the golfers in the room. We're looking for sponsors and golfers. And then, of course, our annual salute to the armed forces is on October 25th. So that's a Wednesday. Again, we're trying to, this place will hold 300 people. On the last couple of years, we've averaged about 170 to 200 people. So let's fill the room with 300 because we got a bigger room for it this year. So those are the two big events that are coming up in the next, 4 weeks. So
Let me just add on to the salute. Of course, there's a whole bunch of things involved with the salute. I know Caleb Green has sung in the past at the salute. He won't be able to this year as he's traveling. But we got, we'll have the commander from Fort Belvedere, the commander from Pontico there. We have a guest speaker, and the guest speaker is really quite unique. My goal is to get Gary Sinise here one year, and he will someday. But we're fortunate to have from the Wounded Warrior Project a spokesperson, retired Army specialist Donnell Green, and she joins the salute to tell her story of resilience in the face of challenging coming back from an injury that she sustained. She was a basketball player, a very good college player, probably going to go pro, and then she went into the Army, and she had an unfortunate accident. And she will talk about that and how she's come back. She's bringing her one of her kids here with her, and we're gonna contact American Legion Post in BC to take her on a tour of BC. So this is how everything can kind of tie in together. It is kind of cool. So we're gonna have a great speaker. We do the taps, and we honor all the people that aren't there, and so we show how businesses connect with the military, and that's why this salute is great. And we're gonna have it at Heritage Hunt this year. Next year, we're probably gonna have it at the Marine Museum, most likely. So we want to really build this thing up to be a whole lot of fun. It's just so inspirational. It's from 11 to 2 on the 25th. And if you guys can attend, it'd be great. We say about 170 people. I think we'll have about 270 this year. So because it's a little closer in. And does anybody in your organization have any events that you want to mention? I saw a couple of flyers there. You can go for that.
So I just wanted to point out that next week, the 29th of September, is going to be Drive for Veterans. It's a charity golf tournament. Northern Virginia Veterans Association is one of the beneficiaries. Dulles Area Transportation Association is another one. And this is to highlight the issue of transportation and the challenge that it is for our veterans in the local area. So I'm going to be there with Luke Fraza from Data. I have flyers. It's at Westfields Golf Club and in Clifton. So it's not that far from here. So I have flyers. Yeah, Friday, September 29th in Clifton. So I have flyers in the back. There's still a chance time to sign up for golfing and raise funds for a great cause and two great organizations.
Anybody else? Here we go.
I also wanted to plug our workshops here with the Veterans and the Arts Initiative. We're right up the road at the Hilton Center. So if you would like to take some time and, foster some community with others and make visual art, learn to play the guitar, the ukulele, please, pick up one of our flyers and join us. We'd love to see you.
That's at the Hilton Arts Center, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The Virginia Veterans Association, in addition to the Drive for Veterans event, coming up next week, our next big event is Celebrate Veterans Day event on Veterans Day at Heritage Brewing, which is right up the street. It's a great venue. They are great people, and it's free tickets. We'll have some great raffle prizes, free music, 3 or 4 bands, I think. Couple food trucks. It's a great time.
So, anybody else?
Okay.
Caleb?
I do, yes, I apologize. So I said this at the last Veterans Council meeting, and, I'm gonna be traveling a little bit, so I'm gonna be out. I'm just gonna throw this out here, and all I can do is ask. My email address is caleb.green@me.com. Really easy to find, caleb.green@me.com. I am one half of the anthem tandem who sings for the Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals. Every game, 41 home games, they salute a veteran. In the past, it has been voting. And last season it changed to Raytheon. I don't control it, but what I do get the opportunity to do is present it. If you are a veteran and you've served honorably and you have, they don't check. If you did get a dishonorable discharge, honorable discharge, whatever, I don't know. We're looking to honor those veterans pre-game. So just prior to the anthem, you get to come out on the ice with the anthem singer, whoever it is that day. And they'll give you like a nice little 30-second, 45-second blurb about who you are. You're on national TV, God, country, and then the national anthem is presented, and then you get to go enjoy the game. Now, this is my 25th season with the Caps. The reason that I do this is because I literally have to run into the stands and find a veteran. I would prefer that if they know they're not going to have anybody, to choose somebody from the organization. Now, if you're a business owner and your friends go, oh my God, that's Michael Whitlow. I didn't know. But it just does something for you, gives you visibility. It puts you on a platform that you didn't know. If we play a Canadian team, you're in the United States and Canada. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity. But what I would need from you is your rank, your name, your branch of service, length of service, if you will. And I'm gonna say your business. They don't normally announce your business, but if you get called, you never know what opportunities and what doors open if they know that's what you do. Okay, so once again, caleb.green@me.com. And any veteran who is served, not dependent, it's a veteran. And I will submit this to the cap, and usually in very short suspense, like the day before. And they'll call and say, would you be interested in being honored tonight? And sometimes the day after. But it's something that I can offer and do them.
Yeah, we've had a couple people, CC Bartholomew was one, and we had Mark Yingling was another one. They got called like the day before or 2 days before, and they go out, they went out on the ice on the red carpet, and Caleb had been singing those nights, and it was just it was great to get some of our veterans just recognized a little bit more. And you know, sometimes it's being at the right place at the right time. I remember I manned a veterans table at the Hilton Arts Center a couple of years ago on Veterans Day. They asked, hey, can an ambassador help me man the table? I manned the table and heard this guy singing. Said, man, that guy's pretty good. And then he came out there and he walked over to this table called Camel, the Center for American Music for Military Officers.
Military opportunities.
Yeah, military opportunity. So military people and their spouses and kids, they all can sing, and they're all over the country. And I said, wow, that's pretty cool. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. We have a Veterans Council meeting. I want you to be there. And he came, and this was Caleb Green, and eventually joined the chamber and he's done a lot with the chamber as an ambassador, and has a lot of success. And he's had a lot of success with the Voices of Service singing around the country. And America's Got Talent, they came in like number 4 or 5. Number 5. So it's amazing how you run into people, meet them, and we're friends too. On top of that, I've been to his church and everything. So you never know what happens and where you're at. You know, just coming here, it's got to help out, right? So it's very exciting to be able to do that. And if you have any ideas of people or resources you want to see, I know we'll have to be 3 people speaking at some point. We'll have the Nova Vets again. And I got some other organizations on the limelight there that's on my mind, which is a resource that you definitely want us to try to find, to talk about, maybe so, there's different organizations. We're dealing with kids, with vets, and dealing with many things. I met at the tank farm, the ladies or the organization that handles the Women's Memorial in DC, which is amazing. So there's a lot of amazing things that we can, have for you guys. If there's something specific you guys would like to see, we can find a speaker for it, but we have a ton of speakers already. But sometimes there's something just a little bit different to make sure that you're interested in coming out.
Something coming up.
Okay, yeah, sure, definitely.
The American Legion is hosting a Veterans Day celebration on the 4th of November at the Harris Pavilion. And I certainly would love to get everybody's email address so that I can send an invitation out to each and every one of you.
We have the mayor's gonna be there. We got a whole bunch of people. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, going to be, both Unity Reed High School and Osborne High School are going to be participants. They're students with their flags, et cetera. The mayor and her, council members, will all get an invitation here in the next day or two. We're debating whether or not we want to invite the governor, but we think that's maybe the mayor's call. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, we're looking forward to exciting. This is going to be a great event, I hope.
No, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope this is appropriate to say this here. We at Merrill and our group, my group, we run various events which are for everybody, which would include bunch of people. So we're all part of the same human race. And we're actually, Kay and I are running a personal wellness, a personal and financial wellness ladies afternoon tea, which is on October the 27th. They're really interesting. We do them twice a year. So our fall one is going to be then, and it runs from 2 till 7. And if you're interested, just grab one of my cards or give me your email address before we all split from here. And the topics that we're going to be covering, I personally will be speaking about, although I'm a financial advisor, I'm going to speak about non-financial retirement planning. Okay, because this is a transition which is huge for most people and very, very challenging transition, personally and emotionally, as well as financially. Another part of the workshop is going to be self-defense. This is really more for women. I'm not saying guys can't come, because we don't want to be sexist.
We'll send Doug, he needs a defense.
So you can dress up or something. But yeah, I mean, feel free. But we do have some people talking about self-defense, things like going into your car with your groceries and something, grabbing your bag, what you can do, stuff like that. So we have a specialist talking about that. I'm a specialist for my thing, they're specialists for theirs. We do have a very, an expert on, and you'll laugh at this, divorce. Okay, so she's actually from State Street tomorrow, and she's going to be talking to us about stuff that you need to watch out for, because lawyers are not always, dare I say, actually the best at helping you with the divorce, if you ever have that. So there are lots of little challenges there. We're going to also have a medical specialist to talk about, preventative medicine, and checks, body checks, and so on and so forth, and things to watch out for in different age groups. And then we will do a little financial piece, which is just basically a market update. Our senior leader, Christopher McNamara, who is top guy at Merrill, he's my leader, our leader, and he will give a 10-minute update. And then we're at the end of all this, we're going to have mingling throughout this whole thing. It actually goes from 2 till 7 at the International Country Club in Fairfax. It's a lovely location. We're going to have the English tea with the cake stands and all this kind of stuff. Wow. So it's quite elegant. And then we're going to drift off down afterwards, 5 till 7, to have a happy hour. And we welcome you with a glass of champagne or something like that as well. And it's all free, courtesy. It's very nice. So if anybody's interested in that, and you think you know someone who'd be interested in that, come and learn about all kinds of things, because we're not just interested in finance, we're interested in the whole person.
Awesome. So anybody has, ideas for any, speaker that you want, we meet every other month. So George will get the next date out there. And so because of that, I usually have the meetings for an hour and a half, but we're done early today, which is perfectly fine for everybody.
Actually, just make sure, does anybody else have any other events or anything else they want to talk about? Because I forgot about 2 events, but go ahead, Kip, I saw you raise your hand.
I apologize. I really wanted to go back to Donnell. Can you just speak a little bit about your event last weekend? If you did and I wasn't in here, I apologize.
I didn't, but I'm going to tell you right now, unfortunately, Caleb's not going to be at our salute, but we had Caleb singing the national anthem on Saturday for the Patriot Cruise and Salute. We ended up honoring 50 honorees, and I say honorees because we honor first responders and veterans. My friend Heather over there took a lot of great pictures.
Yes.
Ryan was one of our honorees this year. Caleb actually too, as well as singing the national anthem. And but it was a great day, great weather. Short version is, for those who don't remember, we honor veterans by putting them on a boat ride for the day. The boats are all donated by boat owners out of Prince William Marina, and we bring them back to this year we had the event at the Electric Palm, and we fed them and we bring them up on stage and we give them a challenge coin and say thank you for your service. That's the short version. But the day was successful, and my man can sing. I've heard him sing the national anthem down there on the ice, but there is nothing better than hearing a man 2 feet away singing a cappella. So he is amazing. If you haven't heard him sing, you need to hear him sing. Because he was our star that day, other than all of our honorees, but he was my star power.
I appreciate that. The reason that I asked Doug to speak on it is because my family grew this past weekend in the veteran community because of the event. And being able to support a fellow service member, you know, in their business and their opportunities and what he was able to do, it was a community spectacle in the greatest sense of honor and dignity and respect, and everybody that could be there. And for people to volunteer their resources, I rode on a boat that was somebody's home. They opened it up to us, and me and another young lady who got served, we were both Army veterans. But just it's the magnitude of the event to leave from where we are right here down in the Aquapon, you know, all the way out to Maryland. You know, you get Fort Washington.
Yeah.
And to be able to see the bridge and the Washington Monument, and just it was a fantastic day. It was a fantastic opportunity to bond and to grow. Yeah, Command Sergeant Major James
Magruder
did his version of Old Glory. I mean, you really have to understand how powerful that is to be in the event like that. Thank you for honoring me, but I really trying to honor him for what he did and all the resources that were necessary to bring this together. And I think that we should get.
Yeah. I think I like this version of the story better. This is like I'd love to hear everybody else's version, because and if you haven't, there's another version from Inside Nova. They did an article, and I'm in love with this girl's article. I mean, just telling the story, because she got a point of view from how, because 17 years ago we started the Patriot Cruises. When I say we, I wasn't around 17 years ago. I started donating my time about 9 or 10 years ago. But Ed and Christine Masons started this thing by reaching out to Walter Reed and said, hey, we'd like to take a family out on a boat ride and say thank you for your service. Somebody that was in the hospital system, which started from that day 17 years ago to be able to honor 50 folks from all around the community. We honored some American Legion folks this year from the Gainesville Post. We honored some veterans from the VFW and Occoquan, the Woodbridge Occoquan. But my job is, and this is where I guess Caleb Cheyenne, thank you for, is my job is to be a part of the community and figure out where. Being the director of operations for this charity is phenomenal. I love doing what I do. But going back on that note, we do have a golf tournament that we're doing with the VFW of Occoquan on the 6th of October. And then we have a chili cook-off that we're doing at Tin Cannon on October 28th. So if you guys want to learn more about us, come out and check out. You want to cook chili, you want to, play golf. We're looking for, just like this golf tournament here, we're looking for golfers and sponsors. We're looking for it all. But everybody in here does something great in the veteran community. That's what I love, because the veteran community, and I don't have to say it to you guys, but we're not Democrats, we're not Republicans, we're not black and white. We're a community of Americans. Exactly. So that's what I love. Anyway, thank you. Yeah. Anybody else got anything else? Yes, sir.
Hey, I had one thought in listening to everybody, and I may get fired for putting this out to everyone here. and I can only hope. Um, But there's a lot of organizations out there in the community that need help. And I don't necessarily mean manpower, I'm talking financial help, and we are able to provide some of that as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to the American Legion Post if you know of an organization. It doesn't have to be a veteran organization, but any organization that is trying to work to contribute to the community that needs help, reach out to us and we'll see if we can help. Thank you.